Hi there, it's 1T, and in this video I will give you a tour of MyLab Math. So things are a little bit different for those who have used MyLab Math in the past at Dallas College. The way we've integrated the two systems has changed. So you can see when you first sign into eCampus, you'll see the MyLab Math link. So you can click there, and that takes you to this menu here. You could also be under Content, which is another way to navigate, and click on MyLab Math there, and it takes you to the same place. So two ways to get in. So under Course Support, when you click in there, it'll give you information that you would need if you were getting any kind of help because of some kind of an issue with MyLab Math and you're talking with Pearson or some other IT group that's trying to help you. Um, this is where you have access to the textbook. You also have access while you're in your assignments doing homework. So I've already clicked on that in the video where we went through the eCampus. So I'm going to go ahead and click right into here, Pearson Course Materials. Whoa, why did it do that? Well, let's see if it does it again. So let's start here. Click on MyLab Math, Pearson Course Materials. I'll have to check that other link, but it worked before, so I'm not sure what's going on with that. Anyway, I don't think you'll be able to see the instructor links. This is student links, and really the only one that you need is the one where it says all assignments. So this is where things are quite different. And so here are all the assignments. So there's some things at the beginning, kind of introductory things. If you never used MyLab Math before and you're not real comfortable with technology, you might want to read this. It tells you about how to enter answers and that kind of thing. In the syllabus, I talked about the calculator that we'll be using. This is a video where I go through that in more detail. Now, one of the most important things, especially for a summer online course, is, how are you going to learn the material? So you're going to click on the videos link. Now, the videos that say 1T are my videos, and these are the same as what I do in my own classroom. So those are the ones that I recommend. And then when you go into your homework, you can click on the videos that are there in the helps and the help buttons, and that's where you're going to get these other videos. So you can certainly use the videos. Let's see, this is the link to the book, and this is actually one of them's this is the book. It looks like this is PowerPoint notes. And so that's another option. There may be some sections where you pretty much know the material and you can jump right into the homework. But in general, when you're running into new things, you can either, go old school, click on the book and read through the book just as if you had a physical copy. You also have the PowerPoint notes. That's another thing you have access to. Again, though, my recommendation is the videos that I make that correspond to each section and should prepare you for the homework. And then again, there's these other links and videos that are going to be embedded in the homework if you need help. But again, you do have access to all of these. So that's the most important thing, is figuring out how you're going to learn the material before you go and do the homework. So let's go ahead and click out of here. I think I can use the back arrow. Let's find out. Yep. And so now we can go in and do the homework. Now I'm going to go into a different homework assignment. Let's go into this one here. So notice when you come in, it tells you the due date. It tells you the penalty for being late. there's a little more information there, but that's the main thing. And so you can see in this section we have 44 questions. I'm not sure why it marked that one wrong. I just figured out which problem I was going to do, and it marked it wrong. So I'm actually going to just put in some random answer here. So just pretend that this doesn't have a red X, it's white. You would let's put in your first guess. It's wrong, and I'm going to get it wrong 3 times. Hopefully I won't guess the right answer. So notice that last time it said final check. So at this point you can move on, or if you click on similar question, it'll give you another chance at this problem. What I'm going to do is I'm going to move on to the next question. You can see that that one's been marked wrong. So if you miss a question, you can always come back to it later, or you can try to do it right away and fix it. But let me go back to question 36 and click on similar question. And now in this problem, notice you have subtractions, 2 subtractions, and a multiplication, a number next to parentheses. So this is 8 minus 3 times negative 4. That's 8 minus negative 12. That'll be 8 plus 12, which is 20. Minus 6, we get 14. So check answer. Notice this time I've got a green check mark. It takes me to the next problem. And you can see that that red X has changed to a green check mark. The point I'm trying to make here is if you're willing to put in the time, you can get 100% on every homework problem or every homework. And so if you miss a problem, you can always go back and fix it. And it doesn't even have to be at the same session. All right, but you also have some help buttons here I want to show you. Help me solve this will take you through this problem step by step. One of the things about MyLab Math that I don't particularly care for is the numbers are randomly generated, and sometimes they're not very nice problems. And so in that case, sometimes I just tell students, miss the problem and get a new problem, and hopefully it'll be better. But if you like the problem you have, you don't want to click on help me solve this, because it'll help you solve that problem, and then it'll give you a new one. A lot of times what students do, if they like the problem they're given, the numbers aren't crazy, they'll click on view an example, they can read through the example, and then come back to this problem. If you click under get more help, notice there's a video that you can watch for this problem. You can click on textbook and it'll take you to the textbook. Again, I showed you a textbook link earlier. We didn't go into it, but it gives you the same thing that we're about to see. And you'll notice that it's taking us to that section of the book. I guess there's an AI study tool. I guess if you have to ask questions, that's where you can do it. That's a new feature. Let me see what it looks like. I am here to help with anything related to thinking mathematically. Okay. Anyway, that's something worth checking out. I'm not real familiar with that. I haven't seen it before. They've been working on that. Okay, but anyway, I'm not seeing how we can get around to other sections. That's where you might want to click on that first link. When we first came to MyMathLab, it did have that link for the book, and there you can get into any section you want. So in this case, when you're in the homework, it'll take you to the section that you're on. Although you can't see it down at the bottom, you can put in page numbers, or there's an arrow to the right or left. You can go forward or backwards. Anyway, that's how you get into the book. Let me close that out. The other thing you can do is click on Ask My Instructor. The nice thing is it'll actually show me the problem. Like, let's say it's a word problem. it'll show me that, and then you can type in your question and send that to me, and then I can send back either a written solution or a video solution. Just kind of depends on, the difficulty level or um, the situation. So anyway, or sometimes if students have several questions, we just work out a time to meet online and have a tutoring session. All right. I'm sorry, I'm getting tired here. It's late. So I think I've showed you pretty much everything I want to show you here. There's one more place we can click on this button here. If you're interested in accessibility, you can click on this link and there's some information about that. You can print out homework. Be careful. I know sometimes in the past students printed out the homework, they did all the problems. They came in later and the problems were regenerated and they were different. So if you have any issues with that, let me know. I haven't had anybody complain about that in a while. There's a help center here you might contact if you're ever having any issues. You can kind of check that out. I'm not real familiar with that one. Anyway, I think that's everything I wanted to talk about. If you have any questions, just reach out to me and I'll do my best to answer your questions. Anyway, that's all I have for you in this video. Have a great night or day or whatever it is.